Let's get brutally honest for a moment. Have you ever paused to wonder, why do some men dive wholeheartedly into her pleasure, while others hesitate? As if it's a battle they aren't prepared to fight? What's really going through a man's mind in those moments of deep intimacy? Is it fear? Love? Pride? Or maybe something even deeper? Here's the twist: this conversation isn't just about sex. It's about identity. About what it truly means to be a man. And if you stick with me to the end, I promise you, this might just shift the way you see yourself, your relationships, and the power you hold within. 1. Confidence through giving. True confidence doesn't shout. It doesn't boast. And it certainly isn't found in how much you can take, it's discovered in what you're willing to give. Some men unlock a quiet, undeniable strength by choosing to prioritize her pleasure. Not because they need validation. Not because they're seeking praise. But because in the act of giving, they find something profound: purpose. Imagine this, like an artist crafting his finest masterpiece. Every gentle touch, every intentional movement becomes a stroke on the canvas of connection. And the reward? Her smile, her trust, her surrender. Stoic wisdom teaches us this: controlling desire doesn't mean suppressing it. It means channeling it, honing it. What if real mastery in the bedroom, and in life, isn't about taking the lead, but about giving without expectation? 2. Emotional intimacy over physicality. Here's the secret most never talk about: the act itself is just the surface. The real depth, it lies in connection, in emotional vulnerability, in that moment of eye contact when everything else fades away. And it's just the two of you, raw, honest, exposed. Vulnerability isn't weakness. For the Stoic man, it's the ultimate strength. To let someone truly see you, your fears, your tenderness, your truth, that requires courage. And when you step into that space of openness, you build something far more lasting than just pleasure. You build trust. 3. Curiosity fuels connection. When was the last time you approached intimacy like a scientist? Or an explorer? Not just going through the motions, but really observing, listening, responding. Curiosity isn't just about figuring out what she likes. It's about understanding her deeply, emotionally, energetically, spiritually. Every reaction becomes a clue. Every breath, a signal. Every subtle shift in energy, an invitation to dive deeper. And suddenly, intimacy stops being routine and becomes a living, breathing dialogue between two souls. 4. The power dynamics of intimacy. For some men, intimacy is the bravest kind of surrender. It's choosing, deliberately, to step back and center everything around her pleasure, her experience. It's saying, without words, this moment is for you. And in doing so, they demonstrate courage, strength, presence. But for others, intimacy is an art of precision, a way to guide, to orchestrate, to lead her gently to the edge and back again, with care and attentiveness. Not to control her, but to understand her, to respond to her with unwavering focus. Neither approach is wrong. Both represent a dance between strength and surrender, power and presence. When done with love and respect, this dynamic becomes electric. Intimacy transforms into a shared, sacred space, where both partners feel seen, safe, and empowered. 5. Breaking the chains of insecurity. Let's face it, many men walk into the bedroom carrying invisible weights. Fears of performance. Worries about whether they're doing it right. That relentless pressure to be perfect, to dominate, to impress. It's exhausting. But here's the irony: what she truly desires isn't a flawless performance. It's not dominance. It's not control. It's your presence, your realness, your willingness to show up, not as some untouchable ideal, but as a man who is willing to be seen. Stoicism offers a powerful reminder: focus on what you can control. Release the rest. You can't control her reactions. You can't erase every insecurity. But you can show up with a grounded heart, with patience, and with the courage to connect. And in that space, you begin to shift the dynamic. From performance to partnership. From fear to freedom. 6. Redefining taboos. Old beliefs have kept men locked up for too long, beliefs about dominance, about control, about shame. These outdated ideas suggest that being emotionally available makes you less of a man, that showing softness means giving up power. But that couldn't be further from the truth. Real intimacy begins not just with accepting her, but with accepting yourself. All of you. Your desires, your fears, your tenderness, your power. When you embrace her fully, emotionally, physically, spiritually, you send a message that echoes louder than any words. You are safe here. I am with you. All of me. And that's when intimacy stops being just an act and becomes transformation. Previously, we explored how true intimacy starts where ego ends, when you choose presence over performance, connection over control. Now, let's go one step further, because something powerful happens when every part of her body, mind, and soul is not only acknowledged but truly seen, valued, and respected. When you let go of outdated ideas about what it means to be a man, you begin creating something extraordinary, a space where she feels safe to be fully herself. A space where you, too, get to shed the weight of societal expectations. This is not just romance. This is not just sex. This is quiet rebellion, a rebellion against the superficial, against silence, shame, and the stories we've been told about masculinity. When you approach intimacy with an open mind, free from the chains of judgment or performance, it becomes a space of liberation. And not just hers. Yours too. Because when you let go of old taboos, you open the door to something transformative. You don't just redefine how you connect with her, you redefine how you see yourself. And in that raw, unfiltered space, that's where real intimacy lives. That's where something unshakable is born. 7. Communication is key. Let's talk about something often overlooked, but absolutely essential: communication. Without it, even the most passionate nights can feel incomplete, hollow, like a fire with no warmth. Because intimacy isn't just a physical act. It's emotional clarity. It's mental connection. It's understanding her not just as a lover, but as a full human being, with her own dreams, her fears, her desires. Can you talk about what she loves? What excites her? What makes her feel safe, or seen, or soft? If not, you're missing the foundation of something much deeper. Real communication isn't just about asking the right questions. It's about listening. Not just hearing the words, but listening with presence, with intention. It's about creating a space where she can speak without fear of being dismissed or judged. And when that space exists, magic happens. Together, you begin exploring not just physical desires, but boundaries, fantasies, unspoken curiosities. The pressure fades, the anxiety dissolves, and in its place, trust, openness, playfulness. When communication flows naturally, every moment becomes an opportunity to connect. You start sensing her needs before she speaks. You begin making her feel not just desired, but understood, appreciated, cherished. And this is where true intimacy thrives. Not in perfection, but in the shared courage to move through imperfections together. To build something real, something alive. 8. The giver's advantage. Now, let's look at something that flips the script: giving. Giving without expecting something in return isn't weakness, it's a superpower. Because when you enter intimacy with the simple, pure intention to make her feel joy, comfort, and pleasure, something shifts. She feels it deeply. She feels seen, adored, important, and suddenly, the whole atmosphere changes. This selfless presence lays the foundation for trust. And from trust, love grows, respect grows. The relationship flourishes, not because of what's taken, but because of what's been offered freely. But here's the deeper truth: Giving isn't just about physical acts. It's about being fully present. It's about putting aside the ego, the urge to perform, and instead tuning into her. In doing that, something powerful is set in motion. She feels safe. She opens up. She starts giving back, not out of obligation, but out of genuine desire, out of love. This emotional safety becomes the soil where intimacy blooms, naturally, fully, and without fear. It's not a game. It's not a transaction. It's a dance of mutual care. And this idea isn't new. Stoic philosophy has been whispering it to us for centuries: do not act for applause. Act for purpose. True strength lies in generosity, not in gain. When you give from a place of grounded love, you don't lose power, you gain depth. Depth of connection. Depth of meaning. That is the giver's advantage. Because here's the unspoken truth: when her happiness becomes your priority, something profound happens. Both of you grow. The bond deepens. The connection strengthens. And love flows without resistance. Bonus insights, thought starters for real change. 1. Strength through vulnerability. Real masculinity doesn't come from building walls. It comes from having the courage to tear them down. When you focus on her needs without fear, you're not losing control, you're redefining it. 2. Change the narrative. In a world that rewards taking, choosing to give is a quiet revolution. You're not just breaking norms, you're writing a new story. 3. Balance ego and openness. The tug-of-war between control and connection is universal. But those who embrace vulnerability often find that it holds the key to true masculine power. 4. Let go of judgment. Fear of being judged, by her, by society, even by yourself, only holds you back. Authenticity, not perfection, is what forges real intimacy. 5. Silent confidence speaks loudest. You don't have to prove anything. Being present, being intentional, being there, that is powerful. That is magnetic. Because at the end of the day, relationships aren't built on grand romantic gestures. They're built on consistent moments of attention, of listening, of laughing, of choosing connection, even when it feels hard. Especially when it feels hard. So, if this message resonated with you, like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe to this channel for more conversations that challenge the old stories, and help you build deeper, more meaningful connections. Let's grow together. See you in the next video.